So tonight, I want to walk through some of my favorite images that tell this story, that show you what is going on right now and what it looks like in an entirely new perspective. So to start, harvest. This is deforestation in Bolivia. What you see on the left is the rainforest that has been cut down and cleared to raise animals and to do mechanized agriculture. So when I see this image, I'm not just thinking about the food, but the earth that is sacrificed to get our food. It's a very powerful moment there in the center. You can see that single cut, right? Perhaps a sign of what's to come, or perhaps an opportunity to save it. I think it's very easy to sit in a place like San Francisco and say, save the rainforest, save the rainforest. But when you see an image like this, I think you contemplate that there are people on the ground on the left side of the screen who have families to feed, who are trying to make money, and there is a country in Bolivia who needs food, right? So you can really think about this for a long time. What is happening? How do we preserve the rainforest and also make sure that people are getting the things they need to live the lives they want? These are canola flowers in Luoping County, China. Yes, it is actually that color. Thinking about these beautiful landscapes and also the byproducts of the oils that are created from doing it. Palm oil is another one that is particularly detrimental to the environment. Another image also from China. This shows aquaculture. So these are nets and cages used to grow the fish that is being used and consumed on a massive scale. Where we extract. So all of the things that we have to come from somewhere, right? If you have a dishwasher or a refrigerator that is made of stainless steel, it most likely came from an iron ore mine like this one in the Pilbara region of Australia. 98% of the world's iron ore is used to make stainless steel. So you can see this beautiful and scary scar that creates things we use on an everyday basis. And oil. Oil has to be extracted from the ground. It's old shells. This is oil extraction on land at the Duri field in Indonesia. We also get it from the above, with platforms above water. This is the Manifa oil field in Saudi Arabia, one of the largest in the world. And that oil is then used for energy, where we power. Some of that oil might go to this refinery in Ulsan, South Korea. This is the third largest in the world and has a capacity of 1.2 million barrels of oil every single day. Where we live. We can learn a lot about the places we live when we look at them from the overview perspective. There's a particularly interesting example here. This is the Bay Area. In the left, you see East Palo Alto. On the right, you see Palo Alto. When you look at areas and you look at the amount of vegetation and green space that they have, you can gauge their wealth. This is a particularly interesting example where you can see them both in one frame. But then when you compare images like this one of the slums of Delhi, India, where green is not detectable whatsoever, to the affluent suburbs of Copenhagen, Denmark, where everyone has their own private growing patch and their own green space and their own huge front yard, you have a new understanding of the places that we live. Where we move. So we have these amazing cities, and then we create this infrastructure to move under, through, over them. Particularly beautiful example here in the Bay Area is the Golden Gate Bridge, which I will show in every presentation ever for the end of time. Or the Kansai Airport, which is constructed as an island in water. It looks like it's floating there like a spaceship. Millions and millions of dollars into these infrastructure travel projects. Or these beautiful, massive oil tankers and shipping container ships waiting outside the entry to the port of Singapore, one of the largest facilities of its kind in the world. Where we design. So we have these cities, and we're thinking about how can we create something that's efficient and flexible, and also the buildings that we've built to make them architecturally sound. We've been doing this for a while. These are the pyramids in Giza, some of the early examples of design on a massive form. Into the modern cities of Europe, like this one of Paris, where you can see the diagonal avenues radiating from the Arc de Triomphe at the upper left, or the canals of Amsterdam, which is a particularly thoughtful and beautiful city when seen from above. And then there's art just on a massive scale for beauty's sake. This This is a guitar forest with a particularly beautiful story. It was built by a father and his children to honor his wife and their mother who passed. And she always loved guitars, and she never had one, and they built this in her honor. We also like to have fun, right? It's not all waste and mining, and we enjoy the world and we enjoy our time in it. So we build spaces to enjoy the world. This is Central Park in the midst of our city in New York. We also do it in natural environments too. This is Aspen Snowmass. You can see the ski trails carved out into the side of the mountain. And also on the natural environment of Coral Reef. This is Bora Bora, and you can see the bungalows that hotels and resorts have built out into the perfect blue waters. Now, all of the buckets that I've talked through already, they don't really just end there. They're often byproducts or things that come of these systems. So where do we waste, right? You saw those massive ships. When they are decommissioned, they are often sent to a place like this in Bangladesh. This is a shipbreaking yard where people working in horrible conditions use explosions and old tools to scrap the ships for parts. All of the cities that we live in have a lot of people who are creating a lot of trash. This is a massive landfill in South Korea, part of which is filled to capacity. The other part is soon to be filled to capacity. But we have to think about this one statistic that says the wealthier you are, the more trash you generate. That is very much seen in these massive landfills in these major cities. The last chapter, where we are not. There are still places, believe it or not, where humans have not yet impacted the landscape. When you look at this red lake in Tanzania, or the Perito Moreno Glacier in Argentina and Patagonia, or this massive desert of sand dunes called the Empty Quarter in Saudi Arabia, you're seeing landscapes which formed over thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands, millions of years, deep time, right? And when you compare that amount of time to the development seen in the previous 8 chapters, things that we've built in the past 5, 10, 20 years, you not only see how much we're doing to the planet, you see how quickly we are doing to it. So this chapter serves as a comparison to show you that the Earth has been around a lot longer than we have, and it will be around a lot longer after we're gone.